Time has really flown by really fast, and we are now down to the last quarter of 2024. And this year has been jam-packed with multiple smartphone releases, both left and right. One of the latest releases we have checked out is the base model vivo V40 5G, boasting a very notable upgrade. The cameras on this one are now all Zeissed up. Sure, this makes it a bit more interesting in the sub 30,000 peso price range, but does having Zeiss-tuned cameras alone make it the better choice over a more affordable but also camera-centric smartphone, the OPPO Reno12 5G? Hey everyone, Jose here from Yugatech, and welcome back to another compare review. So without further ado, and let's jump right into the video to see which one of these is better. Right out of the gate, we are greeted with striking looks. Both units that we have are sporting the purple colorway to match, the mood lighting we have. Although they look nearly identical with the upper left aligned camera islands, curved sides, aluminum frames, and even polycarbonate back panels, each phone still takes a distinct approach to their own styling and makes them different from one another. The vivo V40 has this oval shaped camera island with different protrusions separating the actual camera sensors from the aura light LED flash and the flicker sensor, while the Reno12 opts for a more simple but traditional rectangular shaped module with vertically aligned 3 circular sensors. This somewhat reminds me of the Galaxy phone's design language, but it works, right? Because of that, I personally appreciate the V40's design that is much more appealing to the eyes. Design is still subjective at the end of the day. So, which one do you think looks better? And comment down below if I'm wrong. Moving on, a significant advantage of the V40 is its stronger build. It gets an IP65 rating for dust and water resistance. However, it does lack display protection, which is kind of a bummer considering the price of this phone. The Reno12, on the other hand, has Corning Gorilla Glass 7i, but without any IP ratings. Then again, you can always buy a screen protector for the Vivo, but you can't buy an IP rating. So, no scratch-resistant glass, not really that big of a problem. Aside from the more striking design, the V40 gets to the point this round thanks to its IP65 rating as an added layer of protection. Flip both phones over and we have curved display panels here. The Reno12 sports a 6.7-inch AMOLED display and the vivo V40 boasts a larger 6.78-inch display, both of which are AMOLED panels. Both do run at a smooth 120Hz refresh rate, but the V40 ups the Reno12 with a higher 1.5K resolution and a much brighter screen with a peak brightness of 4500 nits. In contrast, the Reno12 is left with a full HD plus resolution and only 1200 nits of peak brightness. This just means that the vivo V40 screen should be more visible outdoors and even under direct sunlight. When it comes to display quality though, both phones do not disappoint. Their panels support HDR10+ for more vivid colors and dual stereo speakers for immersive audio. This is actually the first time a vivo V series model got a dual stereo speaker, so it's a nice upgrade from before. Audio quality is both decent at best because I do find them lacking in bass, but for the most part, they get the job done. Maximum playback on YouTube is still 4K at 2160p for both phones despite the difference in display resolution. While the vivo V40's brighter screen is good on paper, it's really not that much of an advantage. Like I always say, peak brightness can only be achieved when viewing HDR content, and in Vivo's case, under the sun in so-called sunlight mode. With that, I will be giving both phones a point this round. Now, let's talk performance. Both phones run on a 4nm mid-range chipset from Qualcomm and MediaTek. Apparently, the more powerful one here is the V40 with the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 running at max clock speed of 2.63 GHz. For configuration, both phones pack 12GB of onboard RAM with up to 12GB of extended memory combined with 256GB of internal storage. Powering the Reno12 is the Dimensity 7300 Energy with a slightly lower 2.5 GHz clock speed. However, the gap in performance is not that slight in the benchmark test. In Antutu alone, the vivo V40 garnered a higher score at over 800,000 points, while the Reno12 had a lower score of just around 600,000 points. The same goes for other tests like 3D Mark Wildlife and Geekbench 6. Weirdly enough though, the Reno12 got the higher score in PC Mark Work 3.0, not the battery test, but we'll talk more about that later. In real-world use though, the performance gap is a bit more obvious. We previously played some graphic demanding titles like Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zeros on both of these phones. The vivo V40 handled high graphics with no stutters. However, the Reno12 somewhat struggled with a bit. It was only able to get stable frame rates at 60 FPS when we bumped the graphics settings to medium on Genshin Impact. You also notice that the Reno 12 heats up significantly faster than the vivo V40. What we're possibly seeing here is the MediaTek Qualcomm difference in chipset performance, and thus the vivo V40 easily gets the point this round. Camera performance is another key advantage of the vivo V40. It's now co-engineered with Zeiss, a notable departure from its predecessor where only the V30 Pro model got Zeiss tuning. Its specs includes a dual rear camera headlined by a 50 megapixel main sensor with optical image stabilization or OIS and another 50 megapixel ultra-wide lens. The front camera is also a 50 megapixel sensor that supports autofocus. The Reno 12 does get a triple rear setup, but they're less capable on paper. A 50 megapixel main with OIS, an 8 megapixel ultrawide, and a 2 megapixel macro sensor. And for the front, there's a 32 megapixel selfie shooter. Now, I do wish both of them had telephoto lenses rather than ultrawide sensors, but hey, who am I to complain, right? With Zeiss tuning, the vivo V40 gets an entire suite of different shooting modes. As you can see in the sample images on the screen right now, the vivo V40 outputs photos with more dramatic processing, especially when you have Zeiss mode turned on, giving you a nice balance of colors. The photos coming out of the Reno 12 aren't as decent and aren't as vivid as compared to the V40. For daytime shots, both do perform well until it gets to nighttime or low light. Another one of the V40's tricks is so-called aura light, which is now brighter this time around. With that, portrait shots get a little more acceptable in little to no light source at all. The Reno 12, on the other hand, just doesn't cut it since it has your typical LED flash. As for videos, both phones do give justice to stabilization that applies in capturing 4K content at 30 FPS. The vivo V40 again has the upper hand in night videography thanks to the nifty aura light. But enough of me talking. Check out some of the sample shots right here. A commendable feat from Vivo is the introduction of silicon carbon battery to the V40 series. As we have explained in another video, which you can watch here or just go to the YouTube channel, this newer tech allows for higher battery capacity without sacrificing a slimmer profile. At just 7.58mm thin, the V40 packs an impressive 5,500 mAh battery. It's almost as thick as the Reno 12 at 7.57mm, but this one packs a lower 5,000 mAh unit. In both of our battery life tests, the vivo V40 managed to outlast the Reno 12. On PC Mark Work 3.0, the former pumped out 19 hours and 58 minutes. That's 3 hours longer than the latter's 15 hours and 34 minutes of runtime. That is also the case in our video loop test at 24 hours and 54 minutes and 20 hours and 40 minutes respectively. As for charging, both phones likely use the same SuperVOOC tech with 80 watt of fast charging. This round, it's clear that the vivo V40 5G gets the point when battery life. On the software side, both the vivo V40 and the Reno 12 run Android 14 out of the box, skinned with FunTouch OS 14 and Color OS 14 respectively. I have no issues with both Android skins, except design-wise, Color OS does look a lot better. This UI looks a lot more polished and is cleaner compared to FunTouch OS, at least in my opinion. Connectivity-wise, they all have the same essentials here. 5G, NFC, except the Reno 12 does get the newer Wi-Fi 6 standard, and it also comes with an IR blaster. What's interesting is that the Reno 12 comes with a micro SD slot for storage expansion. This is rare at this price point, and considering the phone is available only in 256GB, this is surely a welcome addition, especially for those that love taking content. With that, the Reno 12 takes this round since it has an expandable storage, which is always a big plus in our book. Finally, we get to answer the question: which one of these is the better pick? It's clear as day that the vivo V40 5G emerges as the victor in this matchup. Its greatest strengths lie on its improved camera capabilities, a superior processing power, and longer battery life. All that for a hefty price tag of 26,999 pesos. The OPPO Reno 12 5G is outshined in almost all key areas, at least in this comparison. But its significantly lower price point might just be its trump card. Priced at 24,999 pesos, it offers an above-average camera performance along with the bells and whistles of a decent mid-range smartphone. Its rare expandable storage also adds to its overall appeal, whereas the competition is stuck with just 256GB. Ultimately, the choice is yours. Are you Team Vivo or Team OPPO in this comparison review? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you found this video informative or helpful, do drop a like and subscribe to watch more. Also, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. Of course, visit ukatech.com to stay updated with the latest tech news and reviews. You can also read about our full review on these phones over at the Ukatech website. Once again, this has been Jose, and I'll see you guys in the next video.